The year was 1850. Millard Fillmore was president. The population of Milwaukee, a city incorporated just 4 years earlier, was 20,000. And a tavern opened on Howell Avenue, just steps from what is now Mitchell International Airport. After an unexpected last call nearly 2 years ago, Jenna Wells shares the twist of fate that will soon welcome patrons back to a gathering place that truly is a landmark.
You know, everything about the landmark, was him. Like when we stand here, the stained glass, all the woodwork, everything you look at in here, he did himself.
A legacy preserved behind cream city brick and dark wooden walls. In 1984, Joe Halser III opened the doors to the landmark 1850 Inn, a building believed to be the oldest tavern in Milwaukee.
This area around the airport here was settled by 40 German immigrants. They were farmers that came from the town of Cologne in Germany. And when they settled this area, they called it New Cologne. And the first brick structure in this town was this building, was this bar.
On the National Register of Historic Places, the landmark became a family-run fixture for nearly 40 years. Business slowed after the pandemic, and on April 30th, 2022, Joe Sr. passed away.
From April 30th till now, it's been, a long process of thinking about what the best thing was to do to move forward.
After his father's death, it was difficult for Joe Halser IV and his brothers to step inside.
The people are what made the place, and seeing old friends and seeing the people that worked from in the area and stuff. And then you come in here and it's empty and Dad's not here anymore.
Without a solid plan, the bar and its neighboring properties, the terminal and Port of Hamburg, also owned by Joe Sr., were sold twice in 18 months. But deals kept falling through.
It finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? Dad doesn't want this leaving, so let's get it open.
This past fall, Joe Jr. and his brothers discussed a potential future for the bar in an interview with Urban Milwaukee.
So we're like, well, what can we do? So in the article, we had just mentioned the idea of seeking out a partner, someone to help us get the landmark open again.
That's when he received a Facebook message from Linda Garcia.
And that was kind of like a dream come true for me to see that. And I thought, is Joe going to remember me? It's been 30 years since we've talked. But I did send him a message and we got together.
Garcia worked at the Landmark Inn in the 90s. She's worked in Milwaukee hospitality for the last 30 years and now runs the bar in the Hilton Garden Inn just across the street.
So I know a lot of people from the area already, and also have sent hundreds, probably thousands of travelers over here from out of town over the years. As soon as you tell people it's the oldest tavern in Milwaukee, they get pretty excited and want to come over.
In years past, she's even seen celebrities stop by the landmark, like Macaulay Culkin, Korn, and several country stars.
Lauren Elena, after one of her shows, came in with her band and sang a cappella in the corner for everyone that was here.
Garcia's love for the landmark inspired her to help Halser take the reins.
My dad didn't have like a succession plan, like how this was going to move on after he passed, or, that we could just do this forever. And I feel like that's what we're setting up now with, Linda and the teams.
As they work to repair and reopen the city's oldest bar, Garcia will run the operations and be set up to become the owner.
What I think is important for Linda and us is to have somebody that it's not just leasing the place, but actually being involved and feeling a part of it and feeling that their efforts are going towards something more.
Halser and Garcia expect the Landmark 1850 Inn to reopen this spring, bringing the same comforting environment it had for 40 years.
We really want to make it back into being a destination for people where when you're in Milwaukee, you have to go to the Landmark. It's just one of those places you have to go.
Luckily, history is one of Garcia's passions, and she's now digging into the bar's archives.
There's always a history on the back of the menu, but there are so many stories and so many things to be discovered about what's happened here over the years.
So far, her research has led to something very special.
In scrolling through the different stories, I found an eBay ad for a picture of Joe Sr. in the Landmark, a press photo. There it is, the one thing on eBay that says the Landmark on it. Just perfect timing, like everything else that's happened with this.
Now it will live on inside the bar, where it belongs.
I'm actually gonna have my friend who's an artist paint it so that we can have a beautiful representation of Joe Sr. in the bar when he just started out.
It's important for her to have my dad's legacy live on.
With a chain of coincidences throughout the process, the Landmark's future seems meant to be.
I tell Linda, I'm like, I wasn't raised a spiritual person at all, but it's like something's been guiding us through to get to the point where it's like, no, you guys aren't going to let this place sell. You're not going to let it close down. And you know what? Some way he's helping us get this done.
And I was like, wow, well, the best, absolute best thing that's coming out of any of this is the fact that you're believing that your dad is watching over us. I've felt that way the whole time.
I